All right, y'all. I'm back in the building. I wanted to do a quick video on Halle, Bailey, and DDG. All right, so they went to court today and to discuss like the child custody situation with their son. All right, and I see a lot of people in the comment section, and people, of course, they have their own thoughts and their opinions about like what's happening with this particular situation between the two of them. Right. First and foremost, let me say I hope and I wish that they get in a good place one day where they don't need to have this level of you know court situation happening or somebody to be appointed in the situation. But with all of that being said, I think it's necessary. I know a lot of people in the comments, well, why is that necessary? It's going too far. She taking it too far. What's happening? Listen, if two people are having an issue communicating and two people have filed, you know, restraining orders against each other, what do you think is supposed to happen? You're saying I put hands on you. The other person is saying this person has put air tags on me and has been had a was emotionally disturbed. What do you think is going to happen when people start throwing around and tossing around accusations, right? That means they're not in a place right now, right, to have an amicable switch, right? Something like that. Also, too, DDG has been notoriously using and weaponizing his audience. This is why we're in the comment section right now, battling each other. Not me, because I'm not about to get into all that. But this is why people in the comments right now going back and forth between them, because he is notoriously used and weaponized social media as a way to address his relationship with her, right? And you may feel she's used the court system to deal with the relationship with him. But the point of the matter is, this is why. And his mom is an enabler. I had posted a video on Instagram, about like his something. They were on a plane. They were playing a game or something like that, and DGG was disrespectful to his mom. And somebody came in the chat talking about, oh, they was in a skit. Ain't no skit gonna ever make me get disrespectful with my mom like that, the way he was. We can put a pin in that right now. The other thing I want to say before I even get started with anything else, this is my channel. It's called Blue Nola Tarot, right? I will at times start the reading off, start the channel. I'm going to set the stage for whatever we're talking about, whether that's going to be a minute long or 3 minutes long. If there's an issue with me speaking on my channel and you don't like it, please find yourself somewhere else to be. Don't come on my channel. Somebody literally got on my channel and cursed me out because they felt I was talking too long. Completely disrespectful. But if I get disrespectful with you, then it's a problem. If I go and track you down, because trust me, you can be tracked. I've tracked people before, then I would be out of line. If I sat down and put some spell work on you, then I would really be out of line. Right? You don't know who you're dealing with, what's going on. People need to stop being disrespectful. Literally call me out my name, curse me out because I was talking. They got people out here talking for 30 minutes before they pull 2-3 cards, and you have a problem with me doing a quick setup or talking, giving my opinion. So from now on, if you have a problem with anything that I'm saying on this channel, with all due respect, fine, see your way out. Nobody made you click on it. Nobody made you listen. And there's also a scroll button where you can just scroll, and then wait till you see me pulling down a card, right? You can also do that. That's an option for you too, if you feel like you don't want to listen. But the bottom line is, if you get to the point to where you want to disrespect somebody, you want to curse somebody else, you shouldn't be here. You shouldn't be here. Because if you get to the point to where you feel like you got to curse somebody out, this is not where your channel should be. Right? I don't go cursing people out on their channel. If somebody getting on my nerves, I'm not cursing them out. So anyway, let's get into it. So, Spirit, give me the energy around. Now, this is the other thing I want to say about DGG. So, Halle is going to be out of town to do some work on a movie. I guess some work. He has made a request to see the child. I don't even understand why that's even necessary, right? Like, go ahead, like, because once again, you're impeding, like, even though it's 6 weeks that she may be gone, there is a thing called Skype where you can see your child. You can also make an arrangement, say, since you had him those 6 weeks, I can take him for maybe 6 weeks. Why not work that plan? Why go into her personal space if you know you already got problems, right? And try to do that. So people were disputing her name. So just so we can get clear, let's see how she pronounces her own name. Because a couple of people was even in the comment section going back and forth about her name. Like, this is the most pettiest thing. Like, hold on. Let's see what
with Gucci. Hi, my name is Halle Bailey, and this is E21 with Gucci.
So I must have been pronouncing it a certain way. Then they had people all in the chat. This is how she pronounces her name. She said it herself. We're gonna clear this up as well. Like, people really was in the chat having a whole back and forth about how she says her name, right? But the point is the intention around it. So Spirit, give me the energy around her and DGG and their custody thing. And will they really truly find mediators for their session with their son? Will they be able to work something out? And that Hermit is here. And that does show finding someone who will provide some guidance, some introspection, somebody who can be alone. I think, and also too, you got, remember, they're throwing mud at each other. There are some concerns there. DGG has been online posting the baby. He doesn't, his whole family's online making, I even saw his brother talking about the baby. Like, what the, it's so confusing to me. But to answer the question, it does show in the messages that they do find someone to help mediate the situation. And this does show, like, in this message, the person that they find, or the mediation people that they deal with, it does show that that it's a good choice, right? How will DDG trip go? Like, being out there, will he get into anything? Give me the energy around DGG, his trip to where she is. And the world card could represent, like, she's gonna, like, this could be like the actual him having his child is fine, but there's still an unresolved thing here, right? I do feel like the mediation, I do feel like having somebody in between them is necessary, guys, because they have this message. This talks about unresolved issues, lack of closure. We have people in real life, not celebrities, they're in real life too, that actually can't even talk to each other to the point they have to email. They even have the people at a point to where they have to use the little cell phone things that the child support people provide, because they can't even communicate. This is real life. People have real issues, right? But it shows that it's completely necessary. They have, again, this talks about they're unable to do it at this time. It doesn't mean they can't ever get to a place where they don't do it, but this feels like they're unable to. So having the person in the middle is a good thing. Having DGG mom as a mediator, is it a good or bad thing? Halle believes that she's an enabler. Is that true? Is having DGG mom there as a person that's in between them, is that a good thing? And it has the message around the Eight of Pentacles. We'll pull three more. It starts off well, right? When you look at the Eight of Pentacles, and then you look at the Queen of Cups, I mean, that's like saying, you know what? It starts off well, like with good intentions. But when you look at the back of it, it does show in the messages here. It talks about, she's not able to manage DGG herself. Like, even that, this video y'all claim was, what do you call it? This video y'all claim was a game between his mom. I didn't like that. There's no day and time in my life that I would ever be that disrespectful to my mom. There will never ever be a time. But this shows in the messages here, like, she's not able to reel DGG back in if he starts to go left, or they start to go left. So even though she seems like a nice enough person, right? And she may have well intentions, but this also talks about too, she doesn't hold him accountable enough. But DGG has his side to him. He has his ways with him. And I'm not saying that she doesn't have her way either, but It does show in the messages that having his mom there, it can start off well, but it can turn into a situation. Even with that fool card, that can represent things being not totally considered. And also too, you gotta remember she has made statements on her as well on social media. DGG's mom, right? She's personally went out of her way to say what DGG had the experience. So that also may be the reason why she doesn't trust that she is the person to mediate. It starts off well, but it does show it can go sideways, and it does show it's not a good investment. When you see this talks about like a lack of foresight. Sometimes when it comes to our own children, we don't see things in big picture view. Sometimes we see things that we're still a parent to that person, whether that person's an adult or not. So sometimes we can uphold the bull crap that they do versus putting it in check. Give me the energy around how does she feel? How does she feel about DGG right now? Like between like now that they're finally in this really broken place, like how does she truly feel about him? Does she really feel she can like at some point? Does she feel like she'll ever trust him again? Like she'll ever get to a place of trust? And that's a no, right? This feels like once you burn me, you're done. I'm gonna protect myself. I'm gonna protect my child. That's it. Right? Will DGG ever get to a place? I heard him say something about like, all this could have been resolved with a simple talk, but now this has gone too far. Will he ever get to a place? I feel like he would be more willing than she is. In her messages, she's saying no. And his message, this talks about hopefully one day we can get to that place, right? This is what it talks about. You can look at it like she's the problem because if you that Four of Pentacles, but this is a person who's saying, just think about it like this. If you feel like a person has really dragged you down, you might feel like yeah, I don't ever want to deal with them again. Some people you don't get to do a do-over. Some people you don't get to, we don't get to just let it go, right? He has the personality of somebody who would be a little bit more forgiving or a little bit more flexible, right? That's like he's trying to put himself in a space in Italy. I'm going to be honest. I have 2 children, and my youngest is 16. She's about to be 17. If I went somewhere, now she's not, even when she was little, if I had to work for 6 weeks in another place, because I remember one time I ended up having to go out of town to do some work when I worked for a particular company. I don't think it would be necessary that her dad would have to come there for that, while I'm doing that work. If I took her with me, I would be like, I would probably be more like, listen, I have this work to do, like just to make it easier, and then you got to remember these people are not on the best of terms. And him, again, bringing himself into her space is once again feeling like you're trying to attach yourself instead of just saying, you know what, damn, I'm going to miss my little man for that little time she's gone, but when she comes back, let's make a plan for me to have him for a period of time, right? Let's make a plan for me to have him next summer for 6 weeks. Something, right? Why does he need to be in her space? You have so much technology now. You have Skype. You have you have all of this technology where if you really want to see your child, you can really see your child. And like make the sacrifice to allow her to go over to where she is and work in peace versus having to deal with now you in her, once again, you're in her space, her personal space, knowing y'all have all of this going on, right? It's about the child, but it's also about making the situation, conducive to it. Now once again, you're inserting yourself into her personal space. I would tell you, ladies and gentlemen, watch who you have kids with. You might end up regretting it. Now, the judge is telling DDG that he is not allowed at this when he does make the trip to post his child. Will DDG ever get that reversed or lifted? Being able to post his child, and this is something where she's gonna fight him on, right? That talks about she doesn't want him to be manipulating things through social media. Or using the baby for clickbait. And honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like they both shouldn't have. If that's the case, they both shouldn't post a baby. If they both, because I just feel like now I do feel like, and I'm gonna keep it real. I always felt like DGG was using that baby for clickbait. You can love him or like him or whatever, or hate him or whatever you feel, but I always felt like he was using the baby for clickbait. here in this, and then when you ask that question, it is saying like she's gonna fight him on that. But I feel like, y'all both shouldn't put the baby on social media. The baby should be protected. That baby have too much image, too much like too much going on. Like as soon as the baby came out, we got 50 million pictures, 50 million memes, baby used for all kind of like for laughs, like butt of the joke type stuff. Like I just felt like even, like, but again, DGG was a the big catalyst to that. Some of the stuff that he would post and all that, it had the baby looking like the laughing stock. But I feel like she will fight him on that. Will she allow the baby to be posted on her end a lot? Give me the energy around her. And it shows in her messages she'll even pull back on posting the baby because she's aware of the situation, right? And she doesn't want to be seen as manipulating stuff either. So I do feel like even if she doesn't have a court order to do so, I feel like she'll pull back on it. I don't know, y'all. I just feel like it's going to take them some time to really get in a good place where they can co-parent. My personal opinion is this. If you cannot do it for yourself and you cannot do it for a child, I think a mediator, someone to go between them, is completely fine. And I think it is the healthiest thing to do for the sake of the child. Will we love to see them get into a place where they can really co-parent and be good co-parents and really do well? Absolutely. But if they're not able to do it, I don't see anything wrong with having someone mediate between them with their child. Whether it's DGG's mom or her sister, if they have relatives that are getting in the middle of the mess, they shouldn't be mediating anything, right? Because a lot of times, as you know, mother-in-laws, sisters and brothers and cousins, they will make things worse than what they need to be, right? And at the core of it, I think it's about what's best and what's comfortable. I see people I saw a couple of men in the comment section saying, just go have another baby and leave her alone with all that. That's not going to solve the problem. Like, we need to stop being ignorant. Go and have another baby just to say, you know what, forget her and that little kid, go have you another son. That is the most ignorant thing you could say in your life. That does not solve the issue between them, because the issue is the baby, but the issue is the relationship between the two of them. A lot of times the fighting that people do is about the custody of the child, but it's also about the way the relationship, the problems that they had in the relationship prior to that. Even before baby Halo came into the equation, a lot of times it's about unresolved feelings, issues between the two of them. And again, if they can't come to an amicable agreement as two adults between them, it's totally fine to have a mediator between them. I think they need to get to a place where, for example, if DGG needs to go work, go do your job and go work and go and be out of town, and she needs to do the same thing. I just don't get why he needs to be, not that he can't, but why do you need to be saying in that 6 weeks that she's going to film, why not just let her have that time? Why not just let her have that time and do the Skype thing? And then maybe you can say, okay, well, what we could do is we could rotate the summers. Okay, next summer I have the baby for 6 weeks since you hadn't for 6 weeks. Like, why is it necessary that you take a trip to specifically go over once again to be in a place where now she has to try to deal with you face to face? This is why bringing a mediator has been called, because once again, that can make a woman feel, right, you're already in her bedroom without permission, in her house without permission, showing up without permission. Like, that can make her feel like you're using the custody thing as a way to still be in her space. So why not just say, you know what, maybe for Christmas break I'll have the baby. Maybe next summer I'll have him for the 6 weeks, right? Like, think about your personal situations with your baby daddy right now, or your ex-husband right now, or your ex-wife, or your baby's mother. Like, is it totally necessary that the person needs to come all the way to a whole nother country just to see that child, versus y'all making some agreement, making a small sacrifice to make an agreement for you to have him the child will be here, right? You got to deal with this child to the day he, to get grown. There's so many opportunities to make up that time that you don't need to be in somebody's space, especially if you're having personal challenges. I just find there's another tactic to be in this person's space when you already have issues with them, right? You can still see your child through Skype, and then when the baby comes back, you get that baby. Baby's so small, you can take time to, you can create, you don't have to wait for the summer. Baby's so small, you can say, you know what, when the baby comes back in town from his trip with his mother, I'll have him for the next 6 weeks. I don't understand why you need to be doing this. Like, to me, it just makes you feel, especially if I already feel like you're not respecting boundaries, is once again, you're inserting yourself. Like, why do you need to do that? And I'm like, oh, he's trying to see his son. Let the father be a father. Listen, he can still be a father without having to do all of that. Like, that just don't make no sense to me. As if I were a woman with a man constantly trying to put himself in my space and place, I would feel so irritated by that. It would irritate my whole soul. But anyway, I hope that they work it out and get to a good place. I don't feel like it's gonna happen, especially with the dynamic that they have in the family and all the people involved. Another thing is, like, they need to tell each other's families to stay out of it. It's like, it doesn't help. Even like, I can remember times where I felt like my mother-in-law was overstepping and doing certain things. It doesn't help. It's like, it just doesn't help. Like, keep your friends, keep your family members, keep people out of it. It just reduces it. If you know that there's a family member that is a part of the issue, then don't involve them in it. Get a whole independent person. Don't it's like, take us. And also, if I were her too, I would seal all of this. This is a minor, right? This is a little kid. Why not take this case and seal it to where all of this stuff is not leaking out to the media? I hope somebody who knows her, if anybody's ever watching this, seal this case with this child. Seal it to where when legal documents come out, because it's involving custody of a minor, seal it to where things are not leaking to the press. That way he won't have ammunition to speak on it, even indirectly. Because if it's being sealed in the court, then there's no reason for it to be discussed. Because what happens is, by being leaked to by being told to the media, he can still, in a roundabout way, they got people right now that got restraining orders on them, and they still get online talking about the person, but they just don't say their name. Why not seal this case as it relates to a minor, or keep things like a gag order, or keep it to where people can't talk about it, because this is a minor. All right. Anyway, take care, stay blessed, encourage, and empower. I'm out of here. I talked too long. Again, I'm going to stand on business. I'm going to stand on this. If you don't like me talking, we can respectfully part ways. I don't need to be called a bitch on my channel. Okay? All right? So, thank you for coming through. Like, comment, subscribe, share if you care. This will be a channel where I will give my opinion. This will be a channel where I will give some commentary. This will be a channel where I will do readings. But if you at a place in your life where you need to get on somebody else's page and curse them out, baby, you need to think about your mindset. What's the stability here? Like, what's going on? All right, take care. Stay blessed. Bye-bye. Oh, don't forget you can book with me at BlueNolaTarot.com, BlueNolaTarot.com. Peace and blessings. Bye.